Former actors at Disney parks. What? X92 is the weirdest thing that happened to you while you were in character. Dated an actress. The weirdest she had was a man asking for him to be in the suit for an hour. He offered her $3K. Somebody offered me $400 to have sex with him while in my Goofy costume asterisk. Makes awkward Goofy laugh. Not a cast member but either Mickey or Minnie cut a very audible fart while posing with my wife and me. It must have been awful inside that Dutch oven of a costume. I had a female friend who played Pluto for a few years. Even though her gender was indistinguishable because it's a fully body Pluto costume, she would regularly share how often she was groped by kids and adults alike. In costume she looked like she was 6 feet 6 inches, but was only 5 feet 8 inches in real life. You couldn't tell the gender of any of the 3 to 4 in Pluto rotation and you could barely tell them apart. Deleted. The number of people that feel comfortable grabbing your crotch or hitting you in the head. Not just kids. I used to be the Easter Bunny at a function hall and people were just weird. I've been threatened by a guy that told me he was going to throw me down the stairs. It's hot, too. Some kids were really happy to get a picture, so it made it all worthwhile. If Mickey Mouse from Disney Florida 1993 is on Reddit, I'm sincerely sorry for punching you in the face. I was 2 and didn't like my personal space being invaded. Not an actor, but was at Disneyland in 21 and walked past some stormtroopers. One of them said to me, "Keep that little droid in check," referring to my youngest daughter. So now every time she sees a stormtrooper she always says, "Dad, remember that time at Disneyland one of them talked to you?" Former CM, custodial, not character performer, but taking a piss backstage and having a guy walk in and come up next to me in full Jack Sparrow costume and makeup startled me for a second. Also seeing 2 of a character is always amusing. Had a grown man with Down syndrome unzip my dress. His family did not try to stop him until after he had gotten a hold of the zipper of the bodice. I'm sure it looked like a weird dance to anyone watching, but it was terrifying for me. I interviewed to work at Disneyland once. My girlfriend at the time got offered a job. I got told, "You, not a good enough person to work for Disney." We went straight from that to meeting my girlfriend's dad for the first time. Great day. Not a cast member, but I was visiting Disney with my family and my 4-year-old daughter honked Pluto's nose. I immediately and calmly asked her to stop and I apologized to Pluto because I felt like that was crossing a line. This thread made me feel a little bit better about the nose honk. Never worked for Disney, but I worked with a lot of creepy Disney-obsessed women. More than a few slipped their room keys into cast members' outfits. Because having sex with a mouse is a fantasy for so many. Kind of the opposite, but I got felt up by a Pepe Le Pew at Six Flags, I think, when I was 14. I am guessing he thought he was playing the character, but it was gross. My sister kicked him and called him a pervert. I worked as a Smurf at Great America in the 80s. I was only 5 feet tall and maybe 100 pounds. I got beat up by 5 teenagers. Because beating up a Smurf is fun, I had a concussion and separated ribs. I was one of the ugly sisters and I got bump smacked every day. Dick got promoted to princess. Nothing. I really miss my fans. I've seen videos of women groping Gaston and him kicking them out of the park. Worked Carnation Plaza Gardens in Anaheim during the 90s. All of our Mickeys were short brunettes. A young child followed a Mickey off stage in the alley that ran alongside our kitchen. When Mickey took off her head, the young child had a fit. Also go to ride Space Mountain with the lights on after some repairs, which was pretty cool. This is totally going to become a BuzzFeed article. Worked at a certain famous chocolate park. The suit was way too big on me. The safety pin holding the pants up popped, pants fell down, I tripped, my big shoe came flying off and hit a kid. I was immediately fired even though it was not my fault. The stormtroopers tried to get my dad once at Hollywood Studios, pre-Galaxy's Edge, and I know a grown man going, "No, nope, nope, not today," made them laugh, because I could hear them stifling laughter in their suits. I've heard stories of visitors feeling so connected to Disney mascots that they tell them about their depression and really deep personal secrets. It kinda sounds terrifying. I knew a girl in high school who was obsessed with Peter Pan. Right out of school she moved cross-country and got a job at Disney and started dating the actor who played Peter Pan. No good stories in here. Moose out front shoulda told ya. Went to college with a young lady who worked summers at Disney World as a character actor. She wouldn't tell any stories, but she did say that for the last 3 summers she had spent all day, every day, open to close at WDW. She was either working in costume or wandering the park. In the Florida heat. Talk about overload. I worked Splash Mountain while in college in the 90s. A kid reached over and took off my cowboy hat, revealing my long ponytailed hair. As a dude, that wasn't allowed. Word got around that I had long hair and was a rebel. This led to Belle from the Disney parade asking me out on a date. Not Disney, but I've been an Easter Bunny before. The kids were loving it, but I guess the head hadn't been cleaned out in a while because a little into my first time doing it, a brown recluse spider started to crawl down into the head. I was surrounded by kids and tried to keep my cool until they left, then I ran to the back and screamed as I threw the head. A woman grabbed my vagina very tight. I cry after that. Sexual harassment more common than people think. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. When I was in the costume on a busy day, we could do the happy birthday dance for all the parties at once. I was in the middle of the song when a dad came up on stage in front of about 250 people and threatened to kick my ass because I was scarring his kid. Not super related to the original question, but my buddy was a cashier at Fiesta, Texas in college. Right around the end of the summer he got called in and fired for giving everyone the 5% season pass discount. They told him he gave away around $25K in discounts. He was banned from Fiesta, Texas for 2 years. Peak, if you're reading this, you did the Lord's work that summer. All these comments about women getting sexually assaulted makes me hope that the actress that played Jasmine didn't think 10-year-old me was being weird putting my arm around her belly. 5 children vomited in a row, even the parents of the family did. I played Cinderella's stepsisters. The number of adults that wanted me to kiss their kids when they were so against or scared is messed up. Talk about consent issues. But I have tons of videos about my crazy stories on IG and TikTok. Also, side note, there's def a lot of people telling lies on this thread, lol. Not my story, but happened to a friend. Disneyland got rid of Jack Sparrow because the actors kept getting sexually harassed. I'm talking straight up genital grabbing and forced kissing. It was bad. The NSFW tag is scaring you right now. Not Disney, but I used to be the Red Robin. Way more old men smacked the Robin in the head on their way out of the restaurant than you might guess. Costume smelled like feet, grease and onions. I'll never forget it. But damn it, it paid $1 more than hosting. I was a musician and my fave was seeing Snow White smoking a cigarette on the loading dock wearing a Cleveland Streamers t-shirt. Close second was Goofy with his head off by the castle smoking a blunt. I had an ex that worked at Space Mountain, just a regular worker on the ride that interacts with the public. She told that literally every day a guy would hit on her, often with their family right there. A good friend is an absolutely gorgeous woman, was a princess. For 2 weeks when amount of dads that would touch her inappropriately was disgusting got to her, she quit. Apparently this is a common problem for a lot of the princesses.